All right, Mike. Now, you know this is very different than your show.
Yes, I don't have to edit.
That's right. And we're completely unprepared. 'Cause that's the way we roll. Yeah, yeah. Just like Deca, we're completely unprepared. All right. Welcome to the OFX podcast. I'm Dave Claxton. Along with me for the first time
Yeah,
is the architect of adventures, Mike Stefano.
I appreciate it coming from the Dave, the determined Deca driver.
That's right, right. Yeah, that's right. I am the all-star of alliterations. Um, so if you don't know Mike Stefano, he has, correct me if I say this wrong, the longest running weekly episodic OCR podcast in existence.
Co-hosted. I think that
Co-host.
yes, that separates me from Mappy Davis.
But no, no, no. What have you not passed him? Because Matt B. Davis does not do a OCR podcast anymore.
It's gonna take, I think he was like in the 800s or something. We're actually this week's episode will be 500. So
You know what? This is 300 for us.
that's amazing. That's so great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with right when you started, I remember. Well, hey, dude, tell the story you started, why you started yours.
Yeah, so it was initially like we had a race team that we just try to get ourselves out of the comfort zone. OCR did a lot for me, so I figured, hey, it could help some other people too. And we had like this little race team, and I just wanted to like document our adventures and have like a little audio time capsule. And then eventually, I think it was one night I was drunk at a wedding in New Jersey, and I'm like, hey, I bet I could like drive to City Field and just like interview elite athletes. And I did that, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. Also, they're just regular people. And it was kind of turned to like highlighting those people in the sport. And now, hybrid racing is taking off. Haven't covered as much as that of that, but like, yeah,
The I was the same when I first started to talk to some of the elites. I was a little bit wondering how that would go, and I have come to determine that they are just as batshit crazy as the rest of us,
correct.
and some more.
Yep. I think of Dylan Scott as someone who's just nuts, like super nice, but like crazy training wise.
We were on the Dylan Scott train right off the bat, like really early, because we followed him on Instagram and we started seeing all the guess the workout volume and the insanity. And I think it was a friend of ours out from Vancouver that like, you gotta follow this guy. He's just wacko. And and we did. And he was actually, I think, one of the original members of our team OFX.
Yes, yes, he was. I,
And
I remember the first time he had like this really like big result, and I messaged him like, "Hey, like congratulations, hope to meet you sometime." And he goes, "Hey, we have met," which made me feel horrible. Apparently, apparently our paths crossed at OCRWC briefly, where he like rabbited, and so I saw him from like a split second, but that event was a blur. So
oh, for the OCR report.
yeah, I guess he helped out with us like years ago. So
You know what? You could make a pretty cool list of people who have rabbited for the OCR report.
right,
Like you could make a really good team.
Tyler Veerman like rabbited for the 3K, then he won the 15K. Fiore's rabbited a few times for us. A lot of good high profile athletes, which is great.
Lord knows how many times Jack Bauer's done it.
Yeah, seriously.
He may be the best rabbit of all time, though. Maybe not the fastest because we've had faster guys, but because he was so in tune with who to watch and where to be, and he knew everything so well. He was always right there. Uh,
Yeah,
do you don't do anything with the OCR report podcast or not podcast, but streams anymore, do you?
not really, no. So
I really
initially,
miss it. I really miss it.
same. Initially, it was supposed to be like a podcast like collaboration. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah, I would love that and give like obstacle racing media someone to like contend with. So like, make both of us better.
Fuck you, Matt.
And no, I love Matt too. I just
Yeah, yeah,
figured like, hey, it'll keep him hungry, keep it because his competition previous to that wasn't really much of
yeah.
anything. So to finally have like a good competitor, I thought that'd be good. But since then, they've kind of all drifted away from podcasts. Like Heather Bodie was involved with it, and she was like the West Coast.
Mhm.
She was awesome. And then obviously Will Hicks had World Toughest Podcast and the OCR Report, this and that. And so eventually they all kind of trailed off, and now they're all in on the live stream because no one else is doing it. So I appreciate that, but I do do wish there's more like attention to the podcasts.
Yeah. So I told Mike we'd talk about hybrid stuff and we will,
Mm.
but we're talking podcasts right now. So how have you found it's been? It's like, 'cause it's changed so much. I don't know if this is accurate because I don't look at my numbers still to this day.
Good for you.
Um,
Genuinely. Yeah.
but I tend to separate my experience, but I think that less people listen to podcasts than did in like 20, well, definitely 2020, pre-COVID, let's call it.
Right. It's been interesting because I always say the same thing. Like, I'm not competing against other like podcasters. What I'm looking for is the Venn diagram of people that are into OCR, people that are into podcasts, and that little like subsection in between. Obviously, OCR has taken a very big hit, which you guys have mentioned a few times in the past. But podcasting also, like, it feels like it's not as big. It's still huge, but yeah, we're definitely not getting the numbers that we used to.
Well, I think too at the time you guys were you were always doing a good job. And I've said this to you before, and I've always said this to anybody who's messaged me and said, "Oh, Mike's asked me to go on the show or whatever," and I told them all the time that Mike will be the most prepared and professional guy that you'll work with,
I try.
especially compared to myself or Matt or maybe not maybe Bracken and Kirk are up there. I'll be honest, I haven't listened to a running public podcast in a while.
I actually listened to the first time today when I was out on a run just before this.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well,
they're still going strong too. But
well,
different styles, right?
they tapped into a completely different audience though,
Yeah.
right? Like they're almost pure running now, like which is great. That's what they love.
Yeah,
And I think,
we all know how much you hate running.
yeah, dude, I got a lot of compliments by running this weekend.
Yeah?
I've I've been putting a little more work in, but so I did get quite a few kudos on the running. Um, I wonder, like, you go back to when we say we talked a little bit about OCR, or we talked how OCR is not what it was. Can it ever be? No, I don't think it will be ever be the same. But can
No.
it bounce? Can the Elite Series in North America bounce back to be something what it's like in Europe right now?
I don't know. I don't know. I think of first off, like when I think of the glory days of OCR, it's not even like the competitive aspect of it. It was the like, hey, every weekend there was like something to do in the mom and pop races, and there was a whole bunch of crappy ones, but there was still like a fun, good time.
Terrible
Um,
ones.
yeah, it's the real bad ones. And so far, there's only like one company that's terrible that's still out there doing races, and I think most people can name who they are, but I won't. Um, but like it's just not as much of the local scene anymore. And I miss that as a New Englander. We had so much. We were spoiled by the amount of like local races that actually were very good. Um, so that's what I miss most of all. But yeah, I think the elite side of things, I don't know. I mean, I definitely respect the athletes that are still out there competing to the elite level. It's not the Ryan Atkins anymore. It's not that like S tier, we'll say. But I'm just happy that there's still people going out there and pursuing the elite side of things because so many people are sandbagging, as you like to say,
Yeah.
but just going for age group. And we've talked about this frequently. They're not incentivizing running elite. In fact, I think they're sometimes doing the opposite, um, sometimes, which is kind of tricky. This whole, I don't know enough about it. I should have prepared more for this, but the whole like elite card thing that they're
I
going
was gonna
for.
ask about you about that yet.
It's like those that don't learn their history are doomed to repeat it, or like history doesn't often repeat, but it often rhymes. Like
Yeah.
we've done this before, and I don't think it worked well. Hyrox is doing it, but Hyrox is also doing incredibly well, and they're allowed to do whatever they want, and they make bad decisions too, and they can get away with it because they're gonna sell out no matter what. But
So when it comes to the elite license thing or card or pro card or whatever they're gonna do with it, and they may forget about it by next week. Who knows?
yeah,
But
like the 3K series,
yeah, but it's one of these things that I actually, when they did it, I said this is actually a good idea. However, the execution was shit,
right
and it
there.
didn't make sense. They didn't. I'd said back then, you need to make it something where it's a status symbol, where it's a glorious, and that's what Hyrox is tailored like to be an Elite 15 athlete is this massive status symbol. It's
Yeah,
something you put on Instagram that companies will actually approach you to sponsor you because you're an Elite 15 athlete. They could have done it like that, but they didn't. They didn't make it that way. They just kind of half-assed it.
yeah. And going back even further, I think another mistake that they made was I love the Spartan Pro team for what it was, but
Mhm.
I think in a way it hindered the you think of like the what finisher shirt gate or whatever they called it.
Yeah,
Um,
stupidity.
like they didn't allow you to wear your sponsor's shirt on the podium, and that doesn't continue to grow a sport. That kind of keeps it more in a bubble, and that's definitely not what we wanted back then. So I think that's another factor. But I think what they should have done, we've talked about this too, is like people love the medals, right? Like
Yeah.
give them a special medal for it or give them a special something
Mhm.
and highlight those athletes. But I don't know, they've made so many weird changes. And now it's like the US National Series is like broken up into three, which
Yeah,
is good because it cuts down on the driving, but it's also like there's no big thing to kind of cheer for anymore.
yeah. I'm
Yeah,
glad
I
to
don't
see
know.
Nicole still doing it. I mean, like,
Yeah, that's fun. Miranda Kilpinski came back out of nowhere. That was pretty fun
yeah,
to have her back. But other than that, I was looking through the names, and it's both exciting and disappointing that I don't know most of the names. Also want to shout out Logan Broadbent, love him too.
oh yeah,
But
awesome.
just not many people. A lot of people like, oh, like this is like they're just super new to Spartan Race, which is exciting. But like for them to do so well, it just makes me miss the good old days of like stacked races. The last really stacked race that I went to in the United States was Palmerton, the 3K series. So many amazing athletes there. It was a cool melting pot of like Ida was there from Denmark, and they had Thomas Van Tonder from South Africa, and like so many athletes from all over came to basically middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania, and did
That
a
was when
short
Lauren
3K
Weeks
race.
was in that one too, right? And Chris and
He
Lauren.
was. Yep. Lauren Weeks was there. I think that might have been the first time I got to meet her at her kid, which was really fun. Um,
I was supposed to go to that one. I
okay.
can't remember what happened, but I ended up not being able to go.
And it was exciting. It wasn't my favorite format, especially the way that they had ran it, where it was like the athletes didn't really know how to pace themselves because you don't want to go all out,
Yeah.
but you have to do well enough to continue. I think that was kind of awkward, but some sort of short course to like better film everything might have been pretty good. But and the fact that it was on a Friday too, like no one's come out on a Friday to watch that.
I always thought they should have made it on the end of Saturday and put it as a side thing on the Saturday or whatever. It screwed the day, whatever it was. They could have 1 kilometer races all day long.
Hmm.
Anybody go in, pay whatever, 35, $40. You get your 1 kilometer qualifying race, the top, however many, 15 were they usually going with?
Yeah, more or less.
Top 15 times race in the final at the end of the day.
You know, that sounds very similar to the way Adventure used to do it, right? With their like 100 meter. Like, and
Yes.
that was so exciting. Like, you're way more ninja
Yeah.
than I ever was. Um, but man, something exciting about watching those people just bursting through and like one small mess up could be like the end of the race. And just a great way to have it going throughout the whole,
Yeah.
weekend where people could watch it. And then to have like the finish with a bang, it was
And
fantastic.
that
So
was it.
yeah,
The 3K part of it just turned it into a shorter sprint.
yes,
And it was people get spread out. The 1K was the part that was exciting. The qualifiers were more fun to watch than the race.
correct.
And I think wasn't that Watson because he was obsessed with F1 and that's how they do it.
Yep.
They were
Yep.
um so from OCR and now like obviously the hybrid has taken off.
Hmm.
Um you've dabbled as
Yep.
far as getting into it and have done a couple of decas here and there. Then this weekend that was your first ever deca fit, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yep.
All right. So let's roll through it.
Okay.
All right. So you get there. We'll go through your race first and then we'll talk about all the other crap. So your race, were you nervous?
Oh yeah. I'm always nervous. And it's also like if you're not nervous, you don't care, but sometimes I get like debilitatingly nervous. Which is kind of dumb because I've done Deca Strongs before. I've done a Deca Mile. I know so I'm familiar with the stations, but it's been a while since I've done one of these events, and I'm a little bit more out of shape than I have been, although I'm getting back to it. I also am really bad at lunges, and that's how the event starts. So that's something that's intimidating too. And also like bigger event, more eyes. Like I don't want to be watched looking like a horror, like some schmuck that's getting through it. Although like Deca is great for all shapes and sizes. I do love that too. but I was a little nervous about like maybe letting people down, I think is a weird thing, although no one cares, like just getting to the finish. But that was just my goal, like getting to the finish, have a good time. Um, don't do anything stupid with like penalties or anything. Um,
I
but yeah,
I'm with you. I mean, okay, I don't get nervous just because that's not me. But the lunges at the beginning are the part I warm up for the lunges.
yeah,
And I'm so glad they're not at the end.
yeah.
Because that's the
Well,
one thing I'm like, if when I get warm up again, and as long as I can run, if I'm warmed up enough to not pull a hamstring and run to the lunges, get the lunges in, I'm like, okay, the rest of it's fine. I
yeah,
get through the rest, no problem. But it's you're right. It's it is literally that is the one that is for anybody.
really
Um,
is.
and nobody cares. You're absolutely nobody gives a shit.
Yep.
Everybody
It,
just wants to see you run, have a good time, and do it. It is critique Spartan Deca for everything that they do. The one thing that they always seem to figure out is how to make this cool community
yeah.
where everybody, well, not everybody, but most people support each other and the whole core of it is just out for the best. So you take off, you get to the lunges. How'd they feel?
It felt pretty good. I was talking to Kevin Gregory while I was doing it, and Caitlin was there taking videos at all the stations, and it felt so much better than I had worried that it would be. Granted, I trained 2 days, 2 specific days for this, and so I knew the
Right.
lunges would be bad. So I did a workout where I would do um, the lunge station. I'd run to the end of my street, come back. I would do the med ball sit-ups, run, farmer's carries, run, and then burpees, run. And I realized the burpees were going to be terrible, which they were. They always are. So I was feeling pretty good. And Kevin Gregory looked at me and goes, "Hey, you should probably slow down with the lunges." So I did because I realized like yeah, he must know something that I don't know. Um,
Fairly familiar.
yeah. And yeah, I guess I was just excited to see him and stuff. And I'm like, hey, I'm doing it. I'm representing Underdog, even though I'm technically like not part of the gym, but whatever. And I was very appreciative of the mats that you have for the lunges because there's nothing worse than like missing the tiny little like thing that I have and like your just knee hits the ground. It's a horrible
I,
feeling.
dude, this is why and Dylan finally popularized it this year. We go to High Rocks, we've been wearing knee pads forever because their
Yeah.
lunges, they put down this thin piece of carpet and then everybody's lunging away, slamming their knee on concrete for 100 meters.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah. So,
It's
yeah,
painful.
but the mats Deca used to have were so wobbly.
Oh, okay.
Like you used to get on it and you'd step back and you'd nearly fall over because the mat was so thick and wobbly. So they brought those in, what, like last year or the year before at Worlds? Brought in
They
the
were
new ones.
great.
They're great now. Yeah, yeah. They've really done. So you got through your lunges, you hit your rower. I imagine you're like, okay, feeling pretty good.
Yeah, I do. I always have that moment of like shifting from the lunges to running where I just have that like, oh,
Hmm.
like come to Jesus moment. But it didn't take long to break out of that. The rower, I love the rower. To the point where like I want to buy a rower just because I just want to sit on it and just roll all day. Because it doesn't like exhaust me, but I feel pretty sore if after I do it for a long time. Um, these rowers felt different,
They
and
are
I know
different.
that they were different. It took more out of me than I thought. Uh, I almost won a competition, which is super strange, of like blind rowing 500 meters. I was off by
Oh, I
like,
like try to stop at 500.
yeah, I was
Yeah,
off by like 15 or something, which was like really impressive because I
that
knew
is
it took me
pretty
about
good.
like 2 minutes. Yeah. Um, this one I was like kind of like not looking at it and I thought I would be done. I looked up and I still had 100 to go. So that was a factor too.
So, I mean, they are legit different. I tell
Yeah.
everybody kept asking me, and they're like, "What are they like? What are this?" And I said, "It's going to feel a little bit harder. You should throw your damper 1 to 2 lower than normal,
Yep.
and then expect to be 5 to 7 seconds slower, and just accept that that's the pace. Don't try to increase your pace.
Overcompensate. Yeah.
Yeah, just accept that's going to be the pace. It'll make it up later."
Yeah, so it was one of those moments that I'm like, I got in my head a little bit where I'm like, hey, this used to be one of my favorite stations. Why am I not doing as good as I used to? Then I'm like, hey, stop thinking that like this is a different kind of rower. It's the first time you've ever experienced this one. Um, and finished that and was on my way.
Yeah, yeah. The C2 ones are just better.
Yeah.
They're just better. I actually have a C2 clone. It's called an XM rower, which is legal for DecaFit. or for
Okay.
decas. But and even it's with it actually has the best seat. It's a little more cushy than a C2 one.
Okay.
So
Real quick, the rowing too. Like that's something that I focused on when I did High Rocks earlier this
yeah.
year, which is like something else we could talk about if we have time. But I had a lot of traveling before I did my High Rocks, and everywhere I went, every hotel that I went to, I would do the rower. And there were some like funky looking rowers, one with like the water inside and stuff like that. And I, yeah, love it. Love the rowing machine.
Have you ever seen like C2 has just rowing world competitions and everything like that?
No, but I
So
do know.
tons like online stuff, in-person stuff, all these big stuff. Alondra Greenlee and Dylan have both been into it.
I believe it. I do know one of the world record holders for some insane like rowing for days. I think it was like 1,000,000 meters, something ridiculous. Jared Newby's dad, Jerry
Oh yeah,
Newby,
yeah, yeah.
just does insane stuff like that because he can. And yeah, just shout out to him. That's phenomenal.
Well, they used to have Ivan Milan. He used to race in my age group in DECA. And I always tease, I said he looked like everybody's favorite Eastern European uncle.
Yep.
And just, you would never suspect it. He just sometimes looked kind of disheveled, one sock up, one down, camouflage, baggy shorts on, big baggy t-shirt, was probably like 6'4", 240. But just had that look, scruffy face, and he would go out there and the rest of us, and he'd run like mid 12-minute strongs. And he was,
Wow,
he was just on the edge of elite sometimes. He was
that's
just,
nuts.
and he looked like a baby deer on the lunges and the box overs, but
Yeah,
just be so devastating on the machines you couldn't catch him.
yeah. And
Anyway,
that's a fun thing about like Deca too, is that like if you're a great runner, great, like work on your station work. If you're great with some of the stations, like you could probably be a better runner. Um, yeah.
yeah. So you finish your row and you head to the box overs, and it's funny because, well, I mean, I've said it before. This is the one station I would change
Okay.
if because I think it is limiting to a lot of people, new people.
So the way that I would change it, and I'm sure you may differ on this, is that there is a difference with the men and female men and women weights.
Hmm.
I feel like there should be a difference for the height for women.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
make a lot of
know.
fans with that comment.
Yeah, yeah. Caitlin hates those box jumps to the point where like you had to show her like the slow,
Cheat code.
yeah, the cheat code to do it. That's slower and more safe. But I also appreciated that they were softer too, which I
Yeah.
had heard about when I listened to Kevin Gregory's like videos on the changes. Although like an idiot, I wasn't really thinking, and I was going the long way because
Hmm.
they're rectangles. And then someone quickly pointed out, "Hey, you don't have to go the long way. You can just go the other way." So I appreciated that.
Did you
Uh,
know it was a rectangle and just thought you had to go the long way, or did you just kind of mentally get there and that's what I'm doing?
I think I just mentally got there, and I kept picking the lane that was like furthest to get into because that's where Caitlin was and taking videos.
Yep.
So I was just mostly focused on that. I'm like, all right, let's get this going. Yeah, so it didn't even occur to me, which is funny. But I think I paced myself well with that. It's not my favorite station, and I felt myself getting sloppy with it, whereas like crossing my legs, and I'm like, okay, there's no reason to cross your legs. Like that's a good way to trip too,
Yeah.
but wasn't too bad of a station. I got through that one pretty quickly.
Yeah. The other thing that they did, so these ones, like they said, they're soft boxes, but they are better than the ones they had before because these ones have weight.
Okay, they're more stable, it
Yeah,
felt
exactly.
like.
The other ones were very,
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen some falls off of those, and that did not help Caitlin's fear of the
I fell at
stuff over.
Worlds on it in the mile
Oh,
rock. It was
yeah.
it
Oh,
was
with a rucksack too. That's
Yeah,
fun.
but I landed literally flat on my back on the ruck, and it was one of these instant calibrations in your head. You're like, "You okay? You okay? Yep, you're okay. Like, get up, let's go." And I thought I was down there for like 10 seconds, and I watched the video. It was like one. All
Awesome. Yeah.
right, so you get through the box overs. You're gonna hit the sit-ups. The sit-up. How's your running feeling at this point? Are you starting to get a little tired?
My running hasn't been great as a whole. I always said that like Deca Fit would be great because running is where I'm strongest. I got myself a treadmill and I've turned a little bit lazy where I just do my miles on the treadmill, which is
Mhm.
not the same as running on the roads. Um, so I was very conserved, running pretty slowly. Pro- Probably looked even slower than I felt too. But yeah, it didn't wasn't too bad yet. I guess my running wasn't too impacted yet.
So you get the sit-ups. These sit-ups are always hit people a little bit different.
Yes.
They feel
Uh,
different than what most people expect.
because there's the throw at the end,
Yeah.
and it's just different enough that it does hit you different. I forgot that that was one of the changes when I was training for it. Um, so that took me a little bit longer. I talked to somebody. It might have been Rye when she was saying like, "Hey, do you see how there's the some sponsored board that you're laying
Yeah.
on?"
Yeah. Core board.
Yeah, and it has a space for your feet. But she's like, "Hey, that's for like tiny people's feet." She said most people like go around, and I'm super glad she said that because I found a really good, comfortable spot to like put my feet underneath that. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
I
that was
like.
hard. Yep.
Okay, yeah, I like that station. It's definitely something I need to work on more. Um, but just trying to get like a better rhythm of like the ball comes back, like use that momentum to come back. But I was throwing it so weakly that it was barely coming back to me. So
Well,
that's
you're a
something I
pretty
could definitely.
tall guy. You could have just tapped it and not thrown it at all.
And that's something that I saw some people doing too,
Yeah.
which I thought about, but I just kind of I just kept throwing it, I guess.
By the way, for people out there who have watched and listened to Mike for years and maybe never met him, I am much shorter than you might think I am. Mike is much taller than you think he is.
Oh, I appreciate that.
I never realized you were like, because you got to be what, 6 foot?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I had no idea. No,
it's funny.
Mike's bigger dude.
Yeah. Also, as someone that has like an OCR podcast, not a very in shape dude either. So that's another thing. Like,
Hey,
oh,
it
you've been
happens to us
covering this
all.
sport. You've been covering the sport for so long. You must be really good at it. Like, oh, actually, no, no, I'm not.
Well,
But
you always did it for. I mean, do you what, 55 miles at World's Toughest Mudder?
yeah, yeah,
That's nothing to sneeze at. I failed at that, right?
yeah.
There's
I,
you've done some good stuff.
I can grind, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So we get through that ski erg's a reprieve, whatever.
Real quick on the skier, that was very different too.
Yeah,
Kevin Gregory had warned me, "Hey, put it down to a one,"
yeah.
and I not intelligently said, "No, I would typically do like a four. I'll bring it down to a three."
Yeah, what do you know?
Um, I felt it. I felt that one a lot. And that was the second station that I'm like, ooh, I'm usually pretty good at this. Why am I not doing well at this? Um, and so, yeah, later he told me, like, yeah, Kevin was saying, like, I do it at a one. Like, and you're not stronger than me. So, yeah, I didn't like the change with the ski erg, but
Well,
it
in
took me
the
longer.
positioning of the ski in the race, that's the time for me where I start to prepare for the back half.
Mm.
So I don't try to make up time there. I don't try to be nasty there. I just try to recover my bearings and focus my mind on let's get this back half done.
Caitlin said it was where I looked the worst.
That was sweet of her.
Yeah, yeah. Appreciate the honesty there.
Oh, baby, you looked horrible.
Didn't look good. Yep.
Farmer carry, any issue or just because the farmer carry is usually pretty easy. The biggest issue with the farmer carry is there's not a big break between runs.
That and I'm not strong. So like 60 pounds is a lot for me.
Yeah,
I only had to set it down once though, which is great because I
that's
trained a
good.
lot for that, especially gearing up for the high rocks that I did, which doubles high rocks. Still haven't done a solo high rocks yet. So I only had to set it down once, but it didn't feel too bad. It's just awkward while they're kind of like dangling around on my legs. Um, but I appreciated the maze version rather than the out and back. I think I prefer constantly feel that like I'm going forward. Um, yeah, so it wasn't too bad, but yeah, that taxed my hands a little bit there.
Well, yeah, and just maintaining momentum, right? Like
Yep.
it's a big difference. And the Deca one with, and you can say this for everybody will test this. Farmer carry with dumbbells is harder than farmer carry with kettlebells.
Yeah.
It just is. I've
Yeah.
never really worked out the science of it, but it just is.
Yeah.
So,
It's maybe just the way that the weight's distributed or something, but yeah. So I've been trying to specifically train with the dumbbell, so it is more awkward.
all right, so we get to the bike, the signature series.
Yeah. Um,
But you're
I
you're lucky because this bike is easier.
yes. I 100% thought that too. Like this the numbers were moving and I wasn't. Um, yeah, it was clicking along fine. That's actually where Molly Crowley caught up to me, which was fun. We took a
Oh,
fun
she's
picture
great.
there. Yeah, lo love her. Caitlin's like, I can't believe you let her catch you. I'm like, she's on a team. Um,
Mike got
but
chipped.
yeah, yeah, there's no shame in that. Yeah, I liked the bike a lot. It seemed a lot smoother. It didn't seem like I had to. Almost felt like less resistance. I don't really know how to
Well, it
explain
could have
it.
been. Did you listen to Kevin and adjust the gear to where you wanted to be? Oh,
I
well,
did.
Rye says she told you to put the gear somewhere.
She did. So I put it at three
There you
and I
go.
was doing really steady, really steady. And she's like, bump it up to four. And the one thing I don't like about it, other than the seats like a lot to kind of move
Yep.
around, is that the shifter
Ugh.
is very sensitive. It went from
Yeah.
three to five. So now I'm trying to do this and I'm like three, five, three, five, three, five, trying to get four. Um, and then eventually I put it to four and she's like, ah, yeah, put it to five. I'm like, okay, I put it to five. And that's when I started to feel it
Is
a
this
little
Rye
bit.
telling you to do it or Caitlin?
Yes. No, this was right.
You should have told him go faster, not to bump it harder.
So, and then I started to slow down a little bit. And I specifically remember I looked down and like, I also, I've heard mixed things about this too. I like the countdown
Yeah.
of it too. Personally, I know that throws a lot of people off when they're doing the math of like, oh, I do this many, I do this many. But five was on the screen for a long time, and then I finished that out. But
The, so this was only the first time I've used it in competition.
okay,
And so I'd done a test trial and a couple of little playing with it here and there at different events. But this is the first time I did it in competition. And the same thing, I knew the gear shift was sensitive, but so we're doing doubles and I ran the first lap, then Rye's running the next lap. So I'm getting the bike set up. And where
nice.
you talk about it's sensitive. So I'm trying to get it adjusted to get it ready. And I'm like, fuck, shit, fuck, dead, fuck, and just
Right.
going like that. And time's coming to do it. I'm like, so I'm panicked on that. But eventually, I think I landed on three. I was going for four. I think I landed on three and just went good enough and
Yeah.
went with it. But
Just a weird design choice for that.
yeah, like put some numbers on the side or a bigger shifter or just something.
Yeah. I honestly don't remember what it was on the other machine. I just kind of went
There
on
was
whatever it
nothing.
was. Okay, there wasn't. I didn't think there
No,
was.
no,
Okay.
it was just pedal and go. And I don't mind the stepper machine. It's not a bad machine. I
Hmm.
have some issues with the display. I'm not great about, and the gear shifter where it moves nice, just the issues with no idea what it is and you can't figure it out beforehand.
Yep.
You have to wait till it's started to do it. I don't mind the seat adjustment for the up and down because you just pull it up and it goes up.
Yep. Where the
But
back and forth is like you got to twist it and kind
yeah,
of yeah. So I played around. I also appreciated very much that there was like a practice area too where you
yeah.
could practice with all the equipment. So I messed around with that a decent amount too.
The warm-up area was actually really good. They've been doing that better. They had a good
Good.
big warm-up area with lots of equipment.
Yeah.
So you get your bike, you head out on the run. Was that a hard run? Because did you overdo it on the bike or no?
Uh, yeah, I think that's where my running started to like fall apart a little bit. Another thing that I did too, I appreciated the water on the course. I would get water after every three stations. So I wasn't like drinking like a camel,
Yeah.
but I didn't, I don't think I hydrated the way that I should have the day previous. So I think that was a factor. Um, so yeah, I got a drink after that one, I'm pretty sure. But running was staying together just a little more slow, just staying within myself, I guess.
Do you know how there's water in the corner on the track quite often? It's amazing how many times I'll have people, I end up doing a lot of judging on the tank. How many people run by and go, "Is there any water?" And I'm like, "You've run by it 18 times."
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Unless you're doing like doubles or something, but no one's going that fast. Like, how are you missing
yeah,
that?
yeah.
Yeah.
So go through that dead ball over. I think it would be an all right one for you.
Yeah. So I'm used to the shoulder over. That's the only, by the way, any of these movements that I've ever done have either been for Deca or for High Rocks. This isn't, I don't have a CrossFit background. I don't
Yeah,
typically do stuff like this. So I'm just used to the shoulder over. And I have a good strategy for that of like, you drop, you step forward, you drop, so it's like right there.
yeah.
Um,
It's stuff.
it's super awkward with the wall thing, and also as you highlighted, and as I saw in the pictures, I was going way too high for
So
no
you saw
reason.
the video? I walked by and he was like you were picking it over your head. Just and again, Mike's like 6 feet tall. The bar is 4 feet tall, so he's picking it like almost 2 feet higher than he needs to.
I couldn't remember what you said specific. It's definitely something sarcastic, like,
It
"Are you going
was.
high enough?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, "I think so. It's going over." And then I'm like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm going way too high." So I was still going over the shoulder, and then over that too. What I could have just, and I talked to, going back to Kevin again, like, how do you get the ball to like land closer? Because every time I threw it over,
Wall away.
I'd have to like kick it over a little bit. And he said he like plops it almost on it and just like pushes it down.
You gotta
Um,
like almost slam dunk it.
yep. So that's good to know moving forward. But also, it's a station where I knew not to try to go super fast because I didn't want to trip over like those legs.
Yep.
But I did like that station. I'm not a strong person, but it was fun to pick things up and put them down.
Yeah, I like
And
that.
also that volunteer, like a lot of volunteers were super great. That one stood out to me a lot as someone who's like, you only have this many, like keep going. And I'm like trying to tell them, like, I'm going slow, I'm pacing myself, but I appreciate you cheering for me.
All right, you ran off to come see me at the tank.
Yep. Um, I like these tanks better. I think they're
Yeah.
awkward looking.
Mhm.
I felt like I could push them easier. Um, based on just the one time I've done the new
Well,
tank.
I do think that the Z-Backs are, excuse me. So you're probably the only other one you used are probably like the four-wheel torque tanks.
Yes. Yep.
And I do think that these ones, especially on the pull, move easier than the torque tank ones.
Yeah.
It's just the
Yeah.
swivel wheels in the background that in the back that are like pushing a shopping cart while you're drunk.
Exactly. I was pushing it and I was talking to someone. It might have been Ryan again. I was talking to somebody and I realized I'm going like all over the all over the place. So that's the one thing I didn't like is it just felt very wobbly and it was tough to stay straight. But I felt like pushing wasn't too bad and pulling was super easy. I know that like previously I'd go for that like quick pull to see if I could like skid it a little bit, but this I was just powering through and it didn't seem to bother me too much. I like that station. And of course I got to see
Yeah, we
you.
get to hang out. Yeah,
But
when you were on that one that was close to the concrete pillar too, so you had to drive straight.
yeah, that was extra motivation I needed
I had
there.
a guy actually, he was in that lane and he did the whole thing, and then on his last one, he ended up smack dab in front of the pillar. And he's like, so he's just like gonna start to pull. I'm like, nah, dude, you got yourself there. You got to get around it. Like
Yep.
you've done this four times. The fifth time, you still got to do it. But all right, so you had to do burpees. Just the burpees are horrible.
Horrible. Horrible. Um, Caitlin took the least flattering picture of myself that has ever been taken, and that is a decently high bar. But it was like mid rep, and I don't know what my face was doing, but it was suffering. Um, up until this point, I wore a headband, and it did such a great job of like wicking away the sweat. It wasn't getting in my eyes. The second I go down for my first burpee, pours all over the, the damn place. Um, and it was just disgusting. So I was immediately in a puddle of my own sweat, which I guess is better than a puddle of someone else's sweat. Um, and it just poured in my eyes, just felt awful. Um, but felt strong in the like that the pressing of it. And I did have to double check with the judge because I wasn't thinking clearly. I'm like, is it just over your head or does it have to be lockout? I made sure it was lockout. Um, but I am very slow with those, but I just keep trying to move. So there's no like put it down, throw myself on the ground. It's like knee down, knee up. But I just keep trying to stay steady with that. And definitely one of the harder stations. And I think it took me a while. Um, but I think I only had to take maybe one or two breaks. And those breaks were limited to just like one deep breath. And then I was back at it. So I felt pretty good about that. But man, all the sweat came out there.
Did you get any no reps?
No, no, I
No,
didn't.
no. I should have got one on mine.
Yeah.
I had one of my favorite judges, Amy Haskell.
Oh, yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
She was my judge for Ryan and I when we went in there, and um, the first rep, it was shit. It wasn't like old time shit, but it was not up high enough. I was just trying to move so fast, and I just snapped it early,
Hmm.
and I knew it, but I wasn't watching them. But she didn't say anything, but her husband was there.
Yep,
And
Andy.
he came to me after and he's like, "Oh, I was gonna say something, but then you cleaned it up right away." And I was
Yep.
like, "You should have. So you should just no rep me. Just I don't care. I when people no rep me, I actually laugh and I love it. It's great."
Yeah. I almost felt like I was doing too much and like I was launching it up there. I wasn't giving myself a chance to even like shake my arms. It's just I launched it up there and then as soon as it went up, I just let it drop and go down. So um the just the up downs were worse than the
Yeah.
presses, I guess, for me.
Yeah, well, like, and then when you're going down, let gravity do the work. Let it pull it down for you. Too many people try to bring it down slow. Like, stop wasting your energy. Let gravity work.
Yep.
Got the line, jumped, hit the bell.
Yes, I wanted to make a comment on the bell. That's a fun way to end it. It made some amazing pictures. I saw one of AJ go look like it looked like it was photoshopped. He was jumping so high.
I think he did like the East Bay Funk dunk one.
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That
a
was so
tribute to
cool.
Vince Carter.
Hmm.
Or
Yeah,
no,
so that
I can't
was
remember the first guy to do it. Yeah, but it was like the jump up between the leg and then hit it.
I really enjoyed that bell. I don't think it was the most enthusiastic jump after I had done all those burpees and stuff, but I loved that that was there. I thought that was like a fine, good final, like boom, did it, get your deck a mark. Um, yeah, so I felt good. I stopped my watch and I looked down and it was like 1 hour on the dot, which obviously is not bragging, but it felt pretty cool that it was like so even there.
I think China started the bell.
Hmm.
Sorry, what was that, right? 2 days of training, 1 hour. There you go.
Yeah, it felt I got the result that I deserved, I guess.
So all in all, had a good time with it. Good
I
workout.
I loved it. I already want to go back because one, I know the simple things that I can do to be faster at it, and
Mhm.
two, I will train more than 2 days for this. I also didn't sign up until like
Four.
Friday,
Yeah.
so that's also a factor too. But I'm super glad that I did it. I should have said this earlier, but I was trying to convince Caitlin to do it, and
Well, we were considering doing our team race.
yes, which would have been awesome, but she just did not understand that this Deca Fit was different than a Deca Mile or a Deca Strong. Like this is the 5K one, and she didn't realize that, so I couldn't push her to do it until she got there and immediately wanted to do it. Um,
You've done it then. I could have got her in.
she
Gee.
yeah, she had like a free code that she wanted to use though, and I wasn't sure how that was going to work with all that. So yeah, well,
Would have figured that.
hindsight's 2020.
Would have figured. Next one. Next one. I Yeah. So she owes me. I want to do that race with her. I'm good. I'm ready.
I
And
think
now
that'd be
she
great.
and now she can do the box overs.
And I also think that me having a teammate, whether it's, Caitlin, how we typically do it, or like I'm partnering up with Rye, like that's going to keep me accountable to like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't want to train. Like I also don't want to let her down.
I didn't
So
because Rye's gonna haul.
yeah. Oh, I believe it.
She's
I
gonna,
believe it.
yeah. Yeah. Especially like if we run a mile together, if we ever end up doing something like that.
Hmm.
When we run a mile, I do most of the zone work. There is not a lot of rest. She's gone back in like 30 seconds ish, and it's like just like
Yeah.
sprint rest, sprint rest, sprint rest.
And that's
She
what's
said
so
she
great
said
about
a little more than 30, but
yeah,
that's
the team. It's great because you're held accountable and it's just a completely different racing style. And it kind of hurts more because you're pushing harder and you don't want to stop. You don't want to take that extra breath because you could pass it off to someone. And yeah, I can't wait to do a team event of that.
so here's the question I have because and there were obvious issues, and Deca's been having some obvious issues. So my question,
Yep.
first of all, in your opinion, how do they fix the volunteer situation? As in get more.
Yeah. So the volunteers that were there, with one exception, did excellent. They were doing double duty, triple duty. I saw, even if like they weren't with you when you first came in, they're like, "Hey, like, what's your count now? I'll get it from here." And I appreciated that, especially with the burpees. Um, the volunteers that were there were doing great with that. I don't know how to incentivize that. Um, I had talked to I forget who it was, someone about like, hey, how long of a shift do you have to work to get a code? Like, what's that whole process like? Um, I feel like ultimately the solution is in there. I also think I heard that when you volunteer, you're not giving a meal, which sucks. And so it's like bring your own lunch, which I don't know. Back in my day, like it
It's
was always like a
bullshit.
Subway sandwich or something, like something like
Yeah.
as a way to say thank you. It's a cost, but it's a sign of appreciation. So I think that's something that needs to be done. And then I don't. Could you tell me what like the how many hours you have to work to get like a race and all that?
I cannot actually.
Okay,
I
that's
don't
fine.
know. But I know it's a lot. And I'll tell you straight away, I think you're too kind. And too nice because I quite frankly think, yeah, it's absolute bullshit that they don't get like a sandwich or a Subway. And I do know that there's issues with this particular venue getting some food on site, uh,
Okay,
just because of the area and the situation.
that is
But
true. Yeah.
but I've been at the other ones and it's not much better. So I'm not inclined to give them a pass on that one. To me, though, the big right now there was parking that the volunteers had to pay themselves.
Wow. Okay, I didn't
And
know
so
that
you're
either.
paying for parking to volunteer. It
Parking,
was
which is not cheap for those that haven't gone to
no.
Boston. Like the cheapest we could get was $35.
And then yeah, that's what I kept hearing was $35. I was at the
Yeah.
hotel across the street. So,
Okay.
but I think that then there's obviously, and I'll say straight out, there's not enough going into it to pre-arranging the volunteers. I don't know whose job that is. And I'm not going to say they're doing a shit job at it, although they are, but they're probably also doing snowing, working for Spartan, doing seven other jobs as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, I almost slipped and said they were doing a shit job, but they're probably doing seven other jobs as well.
Yeah.
and unable to focus on that one. So I'm assuming just knowing the way they do things. So it's more attention needs to be, you can't come to a city like Boston
Right.
with that many people and that kind of energy and get that few volunteers.
Yep.
There's no excuse for that.
I will say the day that I ran was Sunday, and it was much more empty than heard it was on Saturday. On
Yeah,
Saturday, I heard it
Saturday as
was
well.
run like super, super far behind, and I think that was also due to volunteers.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I just got to figure out a way to incentivize it and realize that it's an investment, which
yeah,
Spartan likes to cover their ears and la la la. But like you have to invest in your events to have a good product to attract more people. I mean, think about like High Rocks again, going to
yeah.
my first High Rocks. The money that they put into that, what a
Oh,
world, like I just did New York City, but like it felt like a world class event. I had heard it like talked up and I was still impressed when I got there. I also think like the venue that they chose in Boston, like it's a big convention center and it made it feel even more empty because like they didn't take up the whole, nor should they. But I just thought that was like a weird venue, and especially like at Seaport. Seaport is like the really
yeah.
expensive part of Boston too. So I just thought that was a wild choice on their part for a 3-day event. Um, yeah, I don't know how Friday was, but Sunday was relative, felt
Yeah,
kind of empty.
yeah. Your Seaport birds do not like my van.
No, oh boy, did you get
Fucking
lit up?
shit all over the front of that thing. I didn't even notice till we were at we had left on Monday morning and I got to the gas station. I'm like, holy Jesus, like it was attacked.
Hmm.
It was nuts. I haven't got to the car wash yet. I gotta go get it washed off because it's really bad.
I believe it. I believe it.
Um, all right, so yeah, let's talk about your High experience. We don't have to go through the race or anything like that, but you went to New York. Now, I am famous
Yeah.
for saying I will never fucking go back to a New York High Rocks,
Yep.
not because it's High Rocks, because it's New York and because it's outside.
Yeah. Yeah. So I did a day trip where I woke up early and took a bus to New York City, walked to the venue, did the event, and then rushed back to take a train back home. Got back at like 2 in the morning. So that was pretty stressful. But the only reason I had gotten a ticket was thanks to Joe Rucco, who is my doubles partner, because I understand it is impossible to get a ticket on your own, which is
Difficult, yeah.
something, yeah, it's just like a victim of their own success, I guess. But this was like a 10 or 11 day long event, which
Yeah,
is incredible.
insane.
Um, it was, as you know, as many people know, it's an outdoor venue. I don't think I fully understood that. I had heard that like there were issues with the course being overcrowded and how they needed to manage that better. I didn't go until Sunday, which was the last day. And it was closer to the evening, which was nice because it was cooling down. But I got there early and I wasn't able to like check in and go to the venue because I was too early to get my registration. So they said, "Oh, just get like a spectator pass and go." And I'm like, "The spectator pass sold out months ago. Caitlin couldn't get one." So I just kind of sat around. I'm like, "Okay, well, I brought my media equipment just in case, so I'll do some interviews." And then I was doing interviews there. I had acquired a spectator pass in some shape or form. And then I continued to do interviews out there, but I was out in the heat, and so that was kind of brutal. Um, but I loved that event. That the talk about like the warm up station. I really needed it there because I was most nervous about and they've since changed it, but the sandbag carry of how like if you set it down, you're disqualified, which is such a stupid rule. Um,
So they have changed that.
they have now, yes,
Yeah.
but like relatively recently, like within the month,
Oh,
I think, right?
this year,
Yeah,
so one of the recent changes. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
It's been the dumbest one. I shouldn't say the dumbest. One of the dumbest rules from day one.
Yeah, that I mean, I look at that and I'm like, that is not Hyrox is not for everyone because
No,
I know that I couldn't go like basically like unbroken with those lunges because it's far and it's heavy and I hate lunges. And
no.
as you said, the surface is hard. But it's cool to mess around with a tank. Sorry, the sled. Um, that was something that intimidated me because I think back to when I first started listening to your show, back when you first started, and I was hearing about like Corinna Coffin like not being able to push the sled, and I'm like,
Yeah.
she's a tough
The
chick.
beast.
Yeah, yeah, but she's like the shoe choice and this and that. I'm like, here I am in my like Hoko whatever's, and I'm like, I hope I can move it. And you had told me, and a lot of other people told me like it's not as hard now.
No.
So that wasn't too bad, but it's good to practice the stations and practice how to like transition the sandbag or transition this or that throughout the stations. And I had a really good time with that. I'm glad I did doubles. I needed a Sherpa to like
Yeah.
introduce me to
You
that.
picked a good one.
Yeah, very happy about that. I I didn't realize how hectic the rock zone was. I hear you talk about it all the time, but I had never visualized that it's like a tree with a bunch of branches going wherever. There's no rhyme or reason
It's like going
where
through a subway station, everybody trying to get to a different spot.
it's wild. And that's something I also wanted to highlight that I loved
Yeah,
about Deca is hey, you do one full lap and then you go back to the next number. It was I was never confused as to when
no.
I had to go in. None of this like 3 lap, 4 lap confusion stuff. Um, love that. But in High Rocks, it was very chaotic, and I'm glad that I had Joe to be like, hey, like three's over here or four's over here, because I
Yeah.
had no idea where I was going. I did appreciate that it was only 8 stations, especially towards the end. Um, there was a moment for the farmers carries that had another unflattering picture where he started the farmers carry, and I thought, okay, now we have a chance to walk, and he's running with
Yeah.
the farmers
Yeah.
carry, and I'm like, oh no, I have to keep running with him. Um, one of my goals for this race was to do like half of the work.
Ah,
And when he started, before we started, he said, "Hey, listen, like, I know this is your goal, but you don't have to hold yourself to this, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, yeah, yeah, like, I just want to do half so I can get half the experience. And then we get to some stations, and he goes, "Listen, like, when I race with Kelly Sullivan or I race with this person, like, I do like the hefty majority." I'm like, okay. And I needed that. I definitely needed that for the lunges. He did all
did
but like six.
I was gonna say, did you guys like sandwich a lot of stations? Because we'll do that sometimes where you come in, he'll do the beginning, you do a
Yep.
bit in the middle, and he'll make sure you finish so you can rest after you run, rest before you run.
And even like more frequent switchbacks than I
Yeah.
had thought. Like I thought like yeah, I can definitely do half the row machine, you get the other half. And he's like, "How about we break it up like 200 to like break it
Yeah.
up a different way?" And that was so much better that he did it that way on the ski erg too.
Yeah.
Just ha
Skis switches are so easy. Break the shit up.
yeah, running with someone that has like that much knowledge and being able to explain like, "Hey, this is why we're gonna do this," was super helpful too. Um, my favorite part of the course was the sprinkler, because it was still super hot and I run very, very hot. So there's a sprinkler every lap. Loved it, except for the farmers carries, which I was glad that they
Yeah.
had chalk. I thought that was really nice too because I was sweaty for that. But yeah, all over the place. But I really like that event. Talk about no reps. I got a lot of no reps on the wall balls to the point where I think Joe's like looking over, like, how are you not there yet?
Were you getting them
Um,
for depth or for missing the target?
both,
Because I get a lot for missing the
both.
target. I have the world's worst aim.
Yeah, it was kind of embarrassing because I to practice for this, I had done a lot of like heavy wall ball squats,
Yeah.
but I didn't have a place where I could throw it up, much less throw it at a target. So I thought I was getting decent depth, but watching the videos, the woman was constantly trying to like warn me, but I was like in the zone. Um, but yeah, I was missing the target, just a little left, a little right. It was kind of
How many days
embarrassing
did
there.
you practice wall balls for this one?
A decent amount, a decent. I was so intimidated by the high rocks that I think I trained for a couple months, a few months, like 3 months, I think.
That's good.
And I was doing, I would get to the gym and I would do the row machine, and then I would run, and then I would do farmer's carries. I would do like 55 pounds to get more accurate to that. Sometimes if I had the chance, I would do like the stair mill before, so I was really compromised. And then at the end, I would go and do a bunch of like wall ball squats. So I practiced like this the row machine I enjoy, but like the farmer's carries is where I really push the most because I hate that station. So I decided if I'm gonna hate it, I might as well be like reasonably good at it. So that's the one that I practice the most. But yeah, it was good. I loved finishing it. There was less people that I knew there that I expected, but that's just because there were so many people there in general, which I was
Yeah.
amazed by. It was packed.
It's interesting for these because I mean obviously OCR you beat so many people would know you and stuff like that and I went through this as well but I go to the High Rocks ones and it's an incredible mixture of I don't know any of these people and then tons of people coming up and saying hi,
That's
right?
yeah,
It's almost like a weird yin yang kind of thing happening at the same time, but yeah,
yeah.
you actually do know a lot of people there, you just don't even realize it yet.
Yeah. And I definitely embedded myself in the underdog crew. Like I know just about everyone there. They seem to know me, which is nice. But Sunday again being the
Once a
last
dog
day.
always a dog.
Sunday, like with it being the last day, the only ones there were obviously Joe that I could run with, and then Samario, and AJ Golik. So like they were there taking videos at me at every station, which was nice. Um, yeah, it was a good time. I My next goal is I would like to be the Sherpa for Caitlin, but that also means I have to be the Joe, and I don't know if I'm ready to be the Joe yet. I did a lot of those lunges, but I definitely want to go back to do that too.
And just make sure you get yourself a pair of Nike Signature Series Dylan Scott knee pads.
Hmm.
That doesn't exist, but it should.
Yeah,
Actually, I bet you Dylan would sign them there. You go, well, buy your knee pads, send them to Dylan. He'll sign them, send them back.
not a bad business model. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Um, yeah, get the knee pads. We Ryan, we'll take credit for it. Ryan and I did that way before Dylan, and it saves you so much.
It really does. Yeah.
Yeah, like I use them all the time. And not just for high rocks, I use them for other stuff. I don't use them for Deca because there's always a pad, but
Yeah.
other stuff all the time. Anytime I'm doing any kind of event, I'm bringing those bloody knee pads.
Yep.
Yep.
Knee pads and gloves.
See, I don't
Or
do the gloves
what?
anymore.
Gloves for OC. Well, yeah.
OCR, yeah, I still like gloves for OCR even though I don't need them, just because a couple of reasons. One, safety.
Hmm.
Like so many OCR obstacles are not exactly pristine.
Yep.
And then like if you do black monkey bars on a hot day, your skin just peels off.
Oh yeah.
So it's not
Yep.
for grip, it's for safety.
Protection.
Yeah, protection.
Yeah.
I still got nasty calluses and stuff like they're still not great, but
Yep.
yeah, I still use it. So far your experience, like how do you feel about it? Is this some are you gonna start to cover it a bit more? You think you're gonna do a bit more? You're gonna change, actually get your training in line with it or try different ones?
I I think so for all of the above. Whether or not I race it, which is probably not very likely, I want to go to High Rocks Boston. I want to experience what I experienced again, but also in an indoor venue,
Mhm.
to see how it's like supposed to
And
be,
I hope the
quote
weather is
unquote.
shit so you can appreciate the indoor venue.
Yes, yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, so I want to experience that again, and I would like to be there like when the elites are there. I do not know them as well as I know the
Yeah.
OCR elites, which also is not as much as I used to. But it'd be really cool to see some of these people that I'd heard so much about. See someone like Lauren Weeks again, who I haven't seen since again Palmerton.
She'll
Um,
know you. She'll
yeah,
remember.
yeah, she's super great. So yeah, I definitely plan to go back and cover it again. Everyone was super willing to talk to me. Um, Shout out to, and I don't know if this was the non-alcoholic beer that you typically drink, but Go Brewing.
Dude, I would love to, but their availability in Canada is very poor.
Okay. Well, I was doing interviews with like whoever wanted to talk to me, all the vendors and stuff, because I think it's important to highlight the vendors so they feel like they need to come
Yeah.
back. Um, I talked to her forever.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Hey, can I interview you?" And I'm like, "Oh, haha." And then she did. I don't know where it went. But it was great. And they had like, again, I think like a lemon rather again. It was delicious.
Their product is fantastic.
It is. Yeah.
They have they have just a straight hop water.
Hop water.
Yeah, and she loves the hot water. And their regular, just kind of their light, whatever, regular non brew. I love it. Did they have the
Yeah.
beer mile-ish thing set up?
They did. They had both the beer mile and like beer push-ups or something like that too. They had like two
Oh, okay,
different
yeah,
stations.
I saw someone doing those.
Yeah. So I obviously didn't do it because I was nervous for my race. Um, but I appreciated the amount of sponsors, the like vendors and stuff that were there. And I think that's something that DECA could probably benefit from as well. I don't know if that's something that was absent just at this event or if it's not typical, but like get more people on site.
I mean, they're gonna call Deck out the same way I call it Spartan. Like they're not engaging with their partners well enough when they get a great partner. They have Titan 6, which has been with them from the beginning for basically a lot of not rucking, but apparel, right? Like a ruck
Yeah.
apparel kind of thing.
And they make good stuff. I
And
bought one of their shirts.
they're
Yeah.
fantastic guys. They're a fantastic partner, and they still don't. Deca does not do enough for them. They
Hmm.
go out like they grew their whole division, and they were, they give their own flags and patches and stuff. It's fantastic. They are probably the best partner I've ever seen for them,
Hmm.
and they're not appreciating them enough. Yeah, they even printed us some staff shirts and stuff. Like they're
Really?
great. They're
Yeah.
absolutely fantastic. Um, there's a rumor they may one day come out with plaid shorts. I'm just saying. Just a rumor. Just a rumor.
Yeah.
Um, yes, it's not a rumor.
But even the decas and stuff too. Like I first got into deca because again, Underdog Fitness. Kevin was my coach for a little bit. I'm like, yeah, I'll go and support them. I love the I still love the adventure of like OCR and trail running. Like that's
Yeah,
still the highest priority for me. If I just like to see new things, and you don't see that when you're doing circles. But I didn't think it would get me, but there's something about the hey, I can get better at this station. I can get better at this, and I'm not like a I'm not that kind of person typically, but I think between that and like the fact that you could race with different partners is like so alluring of like you could just meet someone at a deck like, hey, do you want to like do a doubles? I do this, I do this, come up with like a strategy that's unique to you guys based on strengths and
yeah,
weaknesses. I think it's huge. And I think that's another reason why it's continuing to do so well, like the overall sport, is because there's like so many different ways to enjoy it. And then people aren't getting muddy, which is like a barrier for some
yeah,
people. It's things that you can train on. You can't go to a typical gym
yeah.
and do like twister, for the most part, other than like ski ergs. Like there's a lot of things that you can replicate, and there's a benefit for that too. So yeah, I plan to do more of these events. I don't think I'm not going to get good at them, but I want to get better. I want to feel more confident with them. And I think it's a good motivation to like train more than just running too.
Yeah, you should probably step out and try the Deadly Dozen one. That'll be one to try.
Yeah.
And when we get our HTX one rolling, got to give that a shot.
Yep.
Ethics is coming out, coming to thing. I don't know that Ethics would be your speed yet. Um,
Is that the one where it's like the the weight versus like the reps and
no, so that's LT games. Ethics,
okay.
Ethics. I mean, you could do Ethics, but it's a little more like there's a strength zone, and in the strength zone, you're doing max weight lifts. So
Yeah, no.
there's no set weight. You're picking your weight and going from there. And I don't know that that's your cup of tea yet.
Not yet at least, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that might be a 2027 thing, but
But
definitely still you could still do it. Like anyone can do it. I just don't know that you're ready to enjoy it yet.
fair. And you definitely highlighted something else that going back full circle of like more of like the local scene. Like the Deca is like a big scale. High Rocks is the biggest scale for this. But yeah, I'm excited for more of these smaller scale, like Rally in the Valley. We didn't talk about that one. That's one
Yeah.
that's super strange and fun. Like I'll never
Yep.
forget the wave pool things, watching all the athletes going to
Yep.
wild. But like that is fun. That is like fun to watch, fun to imagine train for. Um, and just like testing a whole bunch of modalities in that way. I think that's really cool. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of those pop up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But even if you go to more of these like Strongs and Miles and Half Roxes and High Rocks Strongs and all that stuff, they are what they'll bring you back to the mom and pop races
yeah.
because they're thrown on by local gyms. Like, dude, if you can ever get up here for one of our the farm girl
Prime Girl.
Jacka
Yeah,
Strongs, it is this love fest. Like
yeah,
cheesy, corny bullshit as it sounds, the community that Jesse has built through there, and Jesse's the owner, um, it's just so beyond supportive.
yeah.
You'll get we had a lady one time, she was out there, was her first one. She was struggling beyond belief, and I will say she probably set the longest strong time of all time.
But she
There
got
were
it done.
there were two guys waiting to go after her, and they were the last two guys. And rather than being antsy and jerks, they were just cheering her on.
Yeah,
Like, we'll go when we go. And it
I
was
like
just
that.
like it harkens back. And again, you can credit Decade whatever you want, or you can credit High Rocks because I've seen other High Rocks events, same thing, small events where everybody's cheering each other on and doing great like that. But I think you got to credit the gym owners in the community and the people. That's where it really is, and that's where I feel that mom and pop stuff that we used to feel when we'd go to Shale Hill,
Yeah,
or what else? What else out there? Phoenix Race, Barbarian Challenge, Marion Maid.
yeah.
Oh, what
Fit
else?
challenge.
Fit Challenge,
Yeah,
Noob Sanity.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
You
And
know,
I definitely got a piece of that too with.
oh, Indian
Uh,
Mud Run.
oh yeah, can't forget them too. Um, but so Underdog is like 2 hours away, but like there's a reason why I keep going back to there. Like it's also supportive too. So like I also like that that's a factor too. Of like find a local gym, make friends, and like all these communities can be really cool. And just hold yourself accountable and all that too.
All right, so what's next? What's next for you?
That is a great question. It is the one of the biggest question marks I've had in a while. I don't really have anything on the schedule at all. I'm trying to get back out in the trails because I enjoy that. Um, there's not many OCRs that are kind of rolling my socks up and down.
Like
Uh,
Midwest OCR is like the only off thing I see, right?
yeah,
And they do look like they do a good job.
yep, yeah. That I definitely want to support them. War X I think would be pretty interesting. There's one race by us, race in quotes. It's the Gaylord Gauntlet, and it
Okay.
never gets talked about enough. I only just recently found it a few years ago, but it's run at a hospital, and it's like so many adaptive categories
Oh, wow.
because it's like a rehabilitation center. So people get sent there when they get a leg blown off or like car accident, all these people in horrific shape, losing a limb, they go to this hospital. And once a year they have this event and there's people looking out the window like, hey, I want to do that. And so they work with the nurses to like get ready for the event and then they run the course with the nurses, which is like goosebumps.
Wow.
There's moments where I'm like, oh, am I sick of OCR? And then I do an event like that. I'm like, this is what I love. Um, so maybe there's more of those out there that I could find. That'd be cool.
Well, again, like I said, you come up for one of ours because we actually have a running pool, an over-under pool on the owner and how many times she's going to cry during the event.
Yep.
Because there's always something that'll bring her to tears. Um, always go over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, another one too, I would always recommend. I have never done it. It's always on my bucket list, but it's Native X in Florida.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. They're still kicking
Always
too.
want to try that. Yeah, they seem to be fine. They just because they
Yeah.
are the mixture of the two,
Yep.
right? They have the obstacles, but they have the straight lifting too. And I think we've seen Tara Jackson go out the past couple of years, and I think she's won both. But it's it looks great to me. It really does.
Could you imagine how successful TMX would be now?
They were ahead of their time. It was
Yeah.
again, I was going on forever. Everybody TMX. Ooh, always TMX. That's it.
I think there were changes that they could have made so like
Oh
people weren't
yeah.
like dealing with so many injuries. Like I think it was like Everest, a lot of athletes were like,
No, it was just weird. The wall was on a 45-degree angle, and you had to jump over like a 6 foot wide moat and
oh,
land on that wall. And when people were landing, they were like popping Achilles. It was a
yeah.
poorly thought out obstacle.
Okay, that one then.
Yeah, that was a bad idea.
Yeah.
Um, I was lucky. I don't know how I made it through that one, but yeah.
And they only had like two. There's one in like was it Chicago area?
So they had the first the first year they just did the one big invite one, invite only, tons of big time CrossFitters, lots of big
Hmm.
names they did. And I think that was up in Wisconsin.
Okay.
And then the next year they had two qualifiers and then a championship. And
Uh,
one qualifier was in Miami. That's the one I went to. And then one was out in, I think, Sacramento, somewhere on the West Coast over there, around there.
okay.
And then I don't remember where the final was.
I want to say Carolinas, but I could be wrong.
You could be right too.
Yeah.
I honestly don't remember. But I was just always so happy that I got a chance to do it.
Yeah.
Because
No,
they
that's
had
pretty sweet.
not just, they had the best obstacles in. Like they had Funky Monkey in there. By the way, still to date, my favorite OCR obstacle.
Yeah. That's a good
I
one.
think just the flow, the look of it, everything was just well done with that. I get pissed off every time they change it at World's Toughest Mudder.
Josh Fiore said the same thing with this year's World Toughest Mudder because they changed it a lot and they didn't even have like monkey in the title. And he's like, I just want regular Funky Monkey, like no banana grips, no just keep classic Funky Monkey.
It was it was perfect the way it was. Fuck with those other ones. Leave that one alone. Like
Yeah,
you had it right. So I
yeah.
don't know. I
No need
that
to reinvent the wheel there. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, soapbox, yeah. I miss my obstacles. I do miss my obstacles.
fair.
And
Um,
yeah.
and another thing with gearing up for DECA too is I really wanted to highlight the like DECA Europe Instagram account too, how they were doing like a lot of posts of like head to head. And while it wasn't actually head to head, it was virtually like, hey, these
Yeah.
elites versus these elites. That was really cool, I think, in terms of like get it worked for me, like getting more attention of like, oh, like these elites are going, these elites are going. And then the thought of like them competing virtually, I guess, in essence, I thought was really cool.
What do you think about them going back to actually paying out cash on the podiums for specific events?
Good. But I would like it better if they just took a down year, paid out all the people that are owed money, catch up. Hey, good job, Spartan. You finally did what was thought impossible because of your previous actions. And now then move forward and then like, okay, we're gonna pay on the spot because there seems to be a disconnect with so many things with Spartan, but just when it comes to the payment process. And so if you don't have that like time in between and you just have the money, the people are there, you give them the money, it's done. That's the best bet because it always gets lost in the ether and it's not even it's always been very circular, right? Like
Yeah,
they vote a whole bunch of money, the athletes get super, super angry, they threaten a class action lawsuit, and then Spartan pays. And
yeah.
then it gets better and then it comes back. And it's so that's repeated so many times. And I know athletes that still owed money from a very long time ago. Um, and so that's frustrating. So yeah, pay your like deck affiliates, pay your vendors, pay your your staff because I know there was issues with that too. Pay all the people, get caught up with that, and then you deserve to work to gain your reputation back because they deserve some flack for the shit that they pulled, I think.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Like I for verbatim. It's it's a problem that should not exist.
Yeah.
Should
It
never.
really shouldn't. And I know that they keep blaming the pandemic, which definitely was a factor, but we are 6 years past that. I mean, granted, it lasted for years, but we are very, very much past that. And now it's you can't blame that now. You got to like realize your mistakes, apologize. And I think there was an episode with like Yancey and Joe where Joe says
Oh,
his
that was a bad
typical
idea.
yeah, Joe says typical garbage, but like Yancey is someone that I trust. I think if Yancey was in charge of more things, which I'm glad he isn't too, because I'm sure he's overworked as is, like he has a really good. I trust him. I think
Yeah.
he would make better decisions, but there's just a lot of decisions that are made that I'm just like, why? I don't know.
And this is why I don't buy the, COVID excuse. It's
Yep.
great. That I shouldn't say I don't buy it. Yes, it's a legitimate excuse, but stop digging yourself deeper then.
Yeah. Right.
Right? Like why you're making it worse. You're like, my credit card bill is way out of whack because I got laid off from my job. Okay, so stop buying Fabergé eggs now that you're working again
Yep. Because
and get
because
it paid down.
you see it in every post of like, hey, this championship's been announced. It's this much money. Isn't this so exciting? And the comments are like, hey, pay the people. Like, there's still a lot of people in there, and I'm glad people are remembering, and I'm glad people are angry because
Yep,
sometimes you need to stay angry because they
yep,
hope that you forget, whether that be OCR or other things happening in the world.
yep.
Stay angry and like hold people accountable.
Nice advice, Mike. Stay mad, everyone. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, what did you just say, Rye? You clicked something in my head. Yes. It's like an apology without changing the behavior.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm a behavioral analyst, so I know
yeah.
all about that.
There
Don't
you
try to
go.
pull a fast one on me.
All right. I'm gonna ask you one more question.
Okay.
This is because this is my mindset, and I don't know that anything will ever do. This is an OCR one again.
Hmm.
If Spartan, let's just say they got back on track financially, paid people. If they had that set up, paying on the podium, and then tried this, making the elite wave mandatory completion,
Hmm.
would that possibly bring in some interest? And like I said, that's saying money's paid out.
I think both of those are things that the community and the elites have been wanting for a
Yeah,
long time. Mandatory obstacle completion. That there's not much that I mean, I still fail things because I'm out of shape and my grip strength is whatever now, but like the elites shouldn't be failing other than the spear throw, which I guess like for that you could do multiple attempts,
yeah,
just
yeah.
have more
I think all
lanes.
the obstacles could be multiple attempts, just like OCRWC.
Yeah. Um, I think that would be huge. That there's nothing that should really be too much of a factor. Um, they have all their worries of like, oh, it's going to cause too many lines and this and that. Like, have you seen the elite fields? You don't have to worry about lines right now. Um, and yeah, I think that would help paying on site when they're all caught up will help. But it's also just like their history is still going to be dragging them down.
Yeah.
I talked to Rhea Colby and she's like, I would love to get back into like Spartan racing and
Well,
this and
didn't
that.
she
She
race
the World Championships,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
in Europe they pay people. Like things are going great in
It
Europe.
still looks good in Europe. Yep.
It really does. But both OCR and hybrid racing is going
Yep.
well over there. Especially like Spain. I hear Spain's like a big hub for
Yeah,
DECA
yeah.
now.
And because Spain operates under their kind of them by themselves.
Yeah. So it's isn't that funny how that works?
Hmm.
Yeah, I think those would be two decisions that would be really helpful. And then again, incentivizing running elite because there's so many people. Personally, I would like it if they went back to competitive wave, top three get their placement, the rest are like age group, like a typical 5K. There's some barriers with that. There were some issues when they rolled it out last time with the, hey, what's your average like sprint time? What's your average super time? When you had to like log that to figure out what
Because
wave
they
to be in.
weren't organized, and you get to the start line, and they were just kind of randomly calling people, and it's like, oh,
Yeah. And then there's also the factor of like, hey, you don't know how you placed because it's more like time trial. So that's like a factor too. But I would prefer that than seeing like a badass lady in the 40-year-old, 40 to 45 age group that like probably would have podiumed, but she didn't like put herself out there. Put herself out there for like elite.
yeah,
I hate seeing there only being two, and I'm targeting the women because there's a lot less women running elite, which
yeah.
is a problem, I think. Um, like I want to see the start lines more full. I want to see more people out there running that. If you are age group like this, there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm so much more interested in the elite, the people that are like pushing themselves and enjoying those like different tactics and everything. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I'm not overly optimistic, I guess, with Spartan, um, but it is interesting to see it do well all over the world except for here, kind of.
All right. And how much steam does obstacle running adventures have left in it?
Mm. Wow, that's a good timing question. So we're about to hit 500, and I talked to Caitlin. I think it was the end of last episode too. That like we're definitely closer to the end than we are the beginning. I think. Um, that there's not. I gotta find some other things that are really interesting to cover too, and it's a lot of work. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
uh, trying to find guests, and then things don't work in scheduling, and things can be really tricky with that. It's a lot of time that goes into it, and then like with life changes, I might have less time to do that in the future. So I don't know. There's no plans to stop now. I still have like stuff to release from Orzine when we cover that event. Um, but I don't know. I think it really depends. I have played around with it in the past, thinking going to bi-weekly, but I've been so much about like we haven't missed a week. Like that's a huge thing that I pat myself in the back for. That if I go to bi-weekly, um, like do I kind of lose that enthusiasm for it? I also laid out because I'm very organized with this, with like all the dates. If I did it bi-weekly, I'm like, oh, that's only half the episodes. Obviously, I wouldn't have as much time to shine a
It
spotlight
took
on
you that
like
much working out to figure out it would be half?
math. Not
Yeah,
good with
yeah,
math, but like I figured like okay, like I typically do like 4 or 5 episodes on World Toughest Mudder, so that would take up like 2 months. And I'm like, I don't have, there's not enough time to do that. There's already some busy times where like I don't have enough time to, this person reached out, they want to come on the show, that'd be great. And I don't have time to put you somewhere, which is a good problem to have. Um, but yeah, it's a marathon. It's been an ultra marathon heading towards 500. So I don't know. I'm still gonna keep going strong. I am cursed with the fact that I look at my downloads. Um, and that this behind the scenes thing, podcast sites have switched from the typical download counter to I think they call it IAB, which is like a higher standard. And once they did that, my numbers dropped a decent amount too. So that was also a blow to my ego of like the way that they calculated too. Um, but there's nothing better than like seeing someone that like, hey, I listened to your show, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I don't know who you are. Like that's like that. I
yeah.
appreciate you saying that. I think back to being at OCRWC when we OCR was big. I was doing well with the show, and I was doing Dragon's Back, and I was very nervous to do that jump. I did the jumps, and then I messed up the swing because I like
Hmm.
grabbed too low or something, and I wasn't going to do it again. And then someone's like, "Hey, I listened to your show. Like, appreciated this and that." I'm like, "Okay, well now I have to. Now I have to do it." So there's no better feeling in the world than that. But I guess that's a long way of answering. I'm not too sure. As long as we still love it, it's been a big thing with my wife and I. But it also takes over every Sunday.
Hmm.
So there's like less rest, less time to enjoy things, less time with like friends and family. So it takes its toll in that way. But I'd like to think that I'm doing something that's good, a very utilitarian, like whatever's best for the most people. If people are still listening, I'm gonna still work my ass off and put out a product for you guys. Um, it's also free. Like, listen. Um, so
Well,
yeah.
I will say this. I'm going to thank you not just for doing this today, but you guys were one of the first shows that I did listen to when I first got into this, when I first started. I mean, there was you, there was Matt, there was Will. Um, there was I was listening to everything, BeastNet.
Yeah.
It was everything that was on there I was listening to. But you guys directly, I mean, you guys know that I've loved your guys' show for a long time. And indirectly, you guys helped get me into all this stuff where I'm not just that, but podcasting, this, and because of that, directly, this has all led me to the judging of the events and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
All of that, butterfly flaps its wings bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. Or ripples. Yeah.
Exactly. But because of that, you guys helped me get to where I am in this industry or whatever. And I want to thank you personally because I've enjoyed so many of your shows, so much time. The stuff you and Caitlin have done is so great. And I've always, again, like I said to everybody, and nobody puts more work into it than you do.
I
And
appreciate that. Yeah.
and it shows. Every time I talk to somebody who's been a guest on your show, like even Bethany, and she's like, "Oh my God, like he does." And yeah, I said, he's the best of us.
I try. Although with Bethany, I couldn't like, remember Strathroy and I kept getting that wrong. But yeah.
She barely remembers it. Who cares? She's she gets over it. But and
That's
she
fair.
she is disappointed she couldn't be here. She's doing tons of mom stuff this week. So
Yeah. She's a hockey mom. She's busy.
hockey mom, track mom, baseball mom, just all over the place. Her boy's killing it in javelin.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
If the off chance that she listens to this, I forgot to bring this up in the interview, but Caitlin was listening to an episode and she totally thought that uh she thought Bethany was like a medic
Oh,
because she was talking about how like she was like helping everyone with like I
no.
think after hockey. I'm like, no, she's she's not a medic. She just plays the part there.
Yeah, that's the trainer, right? We all have hockey trainers. I've done it before too with when we were on team. And you're just there with basically a tackle box full of Band-Aids and aspirin. I
Just
don't know.
putting people back together again.
Exactly. Little tape strips for cuts, right? Hockey's a bit of a different world.
It really is. Yeah, Caitlin loves hockey.
Got a girl. See, Caitlin will be a great team. All right.
Yeah,
Hey, Mike, thank you very much. Caitlin, thank you, even though you're not here. Really appreciate it. And you owe me a team race. So, uh,
absolutely.
if you want to see Mike or hear Mike, obstacle running adventures, um, on all your favorite podcast providers.
Yes.
And you guys have an Instagram thing, but you don't, are you guys really, you know,
We do like one post of like, hey, a new episode, and yeah, Instagram, social media is our thing. We put out episodes weekly.
all right.
You can find
Anyway,
them.
all right. Take care, Mike. Thank you so much.
Yeah, appreciate you.